Hello, lovely people. Welcome to this edition of ASO Conversations, where we sit down with intelligent African scholars here at Michigan Technological University to talk about our lives as students and as, as Africans in general living in the United States and in Houghton, where the weather can be really cold, I must say. Today, we are going to, get into it with one of those intelligent scholars, even though she doesn't like me saying it. So we are going to meet Tinu. I don't want to say a lot about her. We'll meet her. So come along and let's have our conversation. So welcome back. Today our guest is Tinu-Ololade Folayan. I hope I got the name right. But before we begin our conversations, do well to visit our social media pages displayed on your screen, and you'll get a lot of useful content about Africans living abroad. All right. Miss Tinu.
Yes.
African graduate students just love to smile. Okay. I like your hair though.
Thank you. I made it myself.
You should see Tinu on every day. Like, she has the nicest fro you can have. Do you do it yourself?
Well, I did, like, if it's just my natural hair and no extensions, I do that myself. But, like, if I have to do extensions, then somebody can help me do that. I try to do it on my own.
That's quite a feat, because especially living here, there aren't a lot
It's not easy. You have to take care of your hair because the weather here doesn't help African hair. It doesn't help our hair.
So what do you do? We are interested because it looks healthy, it looks well groomed.
This is actually in a recovery stage right now because I lost a lot of hair last year, like around this time last year. But I'm just intentional about my hair, wash it myself. I think that it's healthier when I take care of it myself. Wash it, use like moisturizing products, leave-in conditioner, stuff like that. And I just try not to manipulate much because it breaks more when I manipulate.
So have you been visited any hair salon here?
Since I came here?
Yes.
Nope.
That's like the wisest thing you do.
It's too expensive and I'm a poor student, so
I remember I went once and I was like, no, all my hair just...
I haven't done that, but the current president's wife, she helps. She's good at it, so yes, and she will give us.
Yeah,
she gives
my
us
braids there.
ASO discount, so shout out to her.
Okay, so let's talk about your work, right? You are in the chemical
engineering.
Yeah, department. I remember Monica saying she's in the chemistry department.
Yes.
How is it different from yours?
Or
is it the same?
No, it's not the same. And I don't know if I can say much about what Monica does, but for what I do is more application in the industry. So my research is on recycling of lithium-ion batteries. Okay. And I think chemistry is more fundamental science. Chemical engineering is more like we're putting into life processes, and like you can work basically anywhere that there's a process, be it manufacturing of vehicles, mining, oil and gas, even environmental, just anywhere. So I do my research on recycling of lithium-ion batteries, which is gradually becoming a big deal because everybody's trying to go green and claiming to go green, and so we have to think about... I don't like the
way you say claiming, like...
Well, it's good to go green, and we want to go green, but like not everything is as it is or as they say, and sometimes it's just like a propaganda to just make us, the rich people on top. But let's not go into that.
See why I say you are intelligent, right? Did you like grow up thinking I want to be in this field, or yes, happen to find yourself there?
Recycling batteries?
No, chemical.
Okay, so I mean, chemical engineering. I just felt at first I wanted to be an accountant. And then I wanted to study medicine. I wanted to become a medical doctor when I was in like primary.
Battery is so far away from medicine.
But I did not like hospitals. So by the time I got to secondary school, I knew it can't be medicine. And then in my junior, that's what they call high school, right? Yeah. Now, I was thinking accountancy, but then I also wanted to be able to say I'm a science student. So I did both. Okay. I did both commercial and science together. And so up to uni, I was able to decide, oh, do I want to be an accountant or do I want to be a chemical engineer? Then I knew I wanted to become a chemical engineer by the end of my high school. So I kind of navigated both till before I came to Michigan Tech, because I was already like second level of is it ICANN, like is a chartered accountant.
Accountancy?
Yeah. But I came here and I was actually working at KPMG Nigeria. So it was scary coming here to go back to chemical engineering, because I knew I wanted to do that because I for sure wanted to do something in sustainability. And that's why I feel good about working with batteries, because it's kind of like we're saving the world and recycling is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't plan to work with my advisor that I'm currently working with, but it just happened. I just walked into his office and said hi. He was my thermodynamics instructor. I walked into his office and said hi, and I just asked him, what do you do? And he was like, oh, I'm actually looking for someone to work with me, and I think you might be able to do it. Just try it, you might enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it at the end of the month, let me know. But you don't know. And here I am. I was a master's student then, actually. I only came in for my master's, but I started working with him hourly and during the summer, and then he said, well, I'll fund you if you stay for a PhD, and well,
and here you are.
4 years.
So I actually got two interesting things from what you said.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The world actually needs saving. And there's a lot of good that comes with saying hi.
Actually, yes, because I was just, you know, he was my thermo instructor and I really didn't know much about him aside from the thermodynamics he taught us in class. So I just was like, what do you do? You know? And I actually told him then that I'm not sure, because I was volunteering with another faculty that was actually doing something with plastics and polymer, and is also the chair of the Sustainable Futures Institute here. So at that time, I kind of, when I volunteered with this new, my current advisor, because he wasn't paying me initially, I was kind of doing both at the same time, which was tedious. But eventually, I would say maybe the incentive initially was money, because he was willing to pay me more. But I also enjoyed it because I got to collaborate with like big companies and national labs, and I feel right now that I am doing something that has an impact, because like we are all trying to, they say use electric vehicles, but like what happens to the batteries after the end of life of these vehicles, because they are actually, if you've heard about any news with those cars having accidents, the fires are really crazy. So what do you do with those sitting time bombs when the cars are at the end of their life? So that's what we do. So I open batteries in the lab and basically open bombs.
Like, I can see how your work would be useful in Africa, right? Where we have a lot of used batteries and other technologies just being dumped. And I can see how you can really help, right? And it sounds like a lot of work. What do you do when you are not working? You can't be working all the time. You can't look this good and and say you work all the time, right?
I have a workaholic an advisor, but when after the day I just want to lazy. I'm sorry. I don't know how people see me, and like my advisor thinks I'm the hardworking person, and thank God I'm able to meet my deliverables. But I'm also a really lazy person at home, and I'll just like lay down. I like to watch anime. I like to watch K-dramas. I used to write stories before, and write short stories and post on my page or website, and then before now I used to like go out, take pictures. I like landscape pictures, and then of course I call my family. I'm very close to my family, so that's like something that I always do. But time difference makes it really difficult to talk to people back in Africa. So, and when I'm feeling up to it, sometimes I invite people to come over. Let's play games. If it's like a Friday, not during the week, Friday, Saturday, play games and eat. And then when I'm stressed out, it's weird. Sometimes when I'm stressed out, I feel like I want to cook a lot. So I bake. It's weird because you think there was one time I was really stressed out, and you know what? I said, you know what? I'm going to make meat pie. I'm going to make cupcakes. I'm going to do this, and I think I transferred my aggression into the kneading of the
right. So
kneading of the meat pie.
I couldn't bake to save a life. Like, it was that bad. But Eugene, our tech guy, he's behind the screen. You can't see him, but he's the one who makes all of this possible. Hi, Eugene. So he's been teaching me and my little girl how to bake, and it's really been a good way to divert all the unused energy and tension, right? You feel from school.
It can be calming, actually. You know, just
and it's really what you are describing is really different from what our other guest Monica had to say about what she does to de-stress, right? She has her de-stress group, right? She calls it her support group, right? But you don't seem to have that human, correct me if I'm wrong, that human, structure as your de-stress. You tend to do other things that you can do by yourself, and I think that is also good, right? Or you make that you have the support system plus all these other things.
Well, I have naturally not been so much of an outgoing person naturally. Like if I'm in a group and I'm familiar with you, like we've been we've been cracking jokes there. But I probably would not. The first thing I would think I wouldn't think first that I want to go out to meet someone or invite somebody to come to me. So I don't get bored easily. Like I said, in my mind, I'm watching a movie half the time because I'm creating scenarios and stories which I write sometimes. So for human contact, I talk to my family, I talk to my husband, and my friends from back home from over 10 years. I'm sorry, there's so many nice people here, but I've just really not been one to say, oh, I'm down, my advisor is frustrating me. I'll probably call my husband to do that, or my friends from my childhood friends, like we maintain that. So that would be the human, like on phone. Yeah, that's what I would say. So
Tinu, on a really bad day at the lab, right? How do you de-stress? 1, bake, 2, photography, or 3, call home?
I'll call home first. That's the one I can easily do from the lab. I just have to step out the door and I'll call my husband, not just home, because like family, time difference, it makes it difficult. But there's the one person that I don't care if you're sleeping, you have to pick up my phone call and you have to listen to me rant or cry, because I've actually cried at some point before. Yes, but it's part of the old journey.
Crying, that's like one of the staples of graduate life.
Yeah, actually, it was last year that I actually cried for the first time. It took me like
then you are strong. 2 days here to cry. I was like, I'm hating the food.
Oh my god.
I'm missing home.
Oh my god.
I can't figure out where to get my favorite agushi.
Well, I think I also cried during the pandemic, but it wasn't because of research or anything. It was just like
being isolated.
Just the fear of the unknown. Like we didn't know what was going on, and if the world is going to come to an end, I want it to be with my family. I don't want to be here alone. So that was mentally draining. And I think that was when we had that competition of step out, take a picture, and everything. You were the vice president then.
Yeah, that was fun then. So you talk about your husband a lot, and I know you married recently, right?
Yeah, in 2020. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're looking good. It's reflecting. So
I always look good. Even before, right?
You always look good to be fair.
But yes, thankfully.
So one of the things that people juggle, especially for females, right? Women scholars coming from Africa, that pressure to get married at a certain age, and knowing the tension and the stress of graduate life, right? How did you do it? If you had to advise somebody who is contemplating being of that age that we know African mothers and family begin to give you pressure, right? and being able to also achieve your dream, whatever that is, as a scholar, as a student. How did you do it? Tell us as...
I feel like my case is slightly not the usual.
Okay.
Because I was dating him before I came here, but I don't have like a mother that feels like, oh, you must get married. I mean, I'm sure she told me later that she was silently praying for me that I'll get somebody and end up. Like I said, I came here to just do my master's. I was engaged. We had done the first introduction, and it was just do master's, and then maybe after my master's program, we, get married. But when the offer for a PhD came, my first thought was like, nah, I'm not staying in Hudson. And I just came for a master's. I'm going to be done, and I'm going to get a job, and then I'll get married. And because PhD, I couldn't, imagine doing PhD and still being. Because my husband is also he's doing well in his career, and with the visa restrictions here, if he comes based off I'm a student as my spouse, he won't be able to do anything. So I didn't want him to sacrifice that for me. But he was the one who told me like, this is a great opportunity. And my mom also said marriage is a good thing. Marriage shouldn't stop other good things from happening to you, and you definitely figure it out when you get to that point. And so I started my PhD, and when I do get this PhD, this doctorate degree, it's not just me, it's me and my husband. Because he has also been a very good, like I said, I rant, I do everything, and he's been very encouraging. He doesn't live at this point in time. We're hoping that changes, but he doesn't live full time with me, but he comes very often. You see him around, and I go back to where he is when I can. So I'll just say for me, my case is unique because I had a very supportive family, and my mom was never marriage first, school second, although she prayed for me. So I think it's only possible if you have a good support, and if you are trying to get married, to know the kind of person you are trying to get married to and have an understanding. Because I feel like if I did it on my own and we didn't agree, then it would have been very easy for him to complain when things were tough, because it's difficult for both parties, not just the person in school doing the research, for him too. I mean, everybody's married, everybody's living together, but we have this challenge here, but we are only able to face it because we both wanted it for each other, and that's how we've been able to make it work.
Like that's some sound advice your mother gave, right? Marriage is good, but it shouldn't stop other good things from happening, right? And I think that's something that a lot of women can learn, that you might be in the marriage age that we call the supposed marriage age, right?
So anybody can get married at any time these days. It really doesn't matter.
But being married doesn't mean you can't do other stuff. That's really encouraging, because there are a lot of people who are going through it. They are not too sure how to juggle the two, because it takes minimum 5 years to do a PhD, right? And you even started with masters, so that's a long time. So it takes a lot of support to be able to do what you're doing, and you're doing it well,
Thank you.
Winning a lot of awards and all that, so
Oh, okay.
Tell us about it.
Well, like I said, recycling of lithium batteries. I collaborate with some car companies. I don't know if I think it's fine. I've given talks and presentation on it, so I do work with collaboration with Nissan, and then there's a second project I'm managing with the national lab with my advisor. So it's similar to, it's still both battery recycling, but each party wants something different. So I have 2 different timelines, 2 different reports to give, and 2 different things to figure out.
Okay, so you came without funding, if I understood, you came without funding for masters.
Yes.
And now you're on funding, right?
Yes, I came without funding, and my advisor actually said he wanted to fund me on my masters, but at that point in time, the department wouldn't let him. They only wanted to fund PhD students at that point in time. So he said, these are my options. So I didn't have to reapply or anything. I just filled a form, but I did say that I wanted to finish my master's, so I still finished my master's, which was, I'm never doing that again, because I was running masters, and I changed my master's to a coursework master's. So I was still doing my master's, and I also tried to get a minor in sustainability while doing my master's in chemical engineering and sustainability. And then the same year, my advisor wanted me to have my proposal defense, which was in 2020. And then there was a pandemic. Oh my god. So it was not easy at all. Yeah. But I'm glad that is over. And then I was also a teaching assistant. Like,
I think that's something that people underestimate, right? Or don't even consider. Or even if they do, they don't know the full extent of what it means to be a graduate student, right? Because you are juggling so many things. It's not just schoolwork. It's just so many things.
It's like for the research, it's like I'm working. If I were in a company, I'm working for something to meet a goal, and I give my regular reports weekly, monthly, or quarterly. And then you, in some cases, you have to be a teaching assistant. And you have to grade. You have to understand that course. You have to be able to teach. And then you also have your courses that you have to understand. You have your assignments. And in my own case, I also had to write a report for my proposal defense. And because I wanted to overdo and went to say I wanted to have a certificate in sustainability, I had that. But in the end, it all worked out. You know, I finished my master's in 2020. I got my certificate in sustainability. I also earned my candidacy. That's what they call it in 2020. 2020 was in retrospect, it was a good year if you don't think about COVID-19.
Yes, it was a good year.
Yeah, for me. And I also got married in 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
We had to postpone the wedding because it was meant to be June, but then COVID happened.
COVID didn't slow you down.
I actually didn't see him for almost a year. But it happened.
Wow. So, without funding, because I do know that there are people who get admission but they don't get funding. Others come and they don't have funding. So what would be your advice? How do they manage? Because for most people it's about finances, right? How do I make it work? What would be your advice?
So I was lucky that I kind of had my money. I had money for school fees, but every other thing I wasn't sure how that was going to happen. But I had money for just the first semester, like to survive, rent and everything. I think the advice is take that leap of faith and come. There are so many aids, I would say. First of all, at least I know in Michigan Tech you can split your fees, that you don't have to pay everything at once. And there are also resources, which is one thing that I think US has that maybe countries like UK don't have, is that there's also access to student loans. Africans don't really like that because we don't like the idea of loans, but people here do it for 4 years, so that 1 year that you're doing it for, it's not. And for sure, once you put yourself out there like I did, reach out to faculty. You might have to volunteer initially, but when they see that you are hardworking, the barest minimum is they'll pay you hourly, which would at least cover your feeding and your rent, and then you just have to think about your school fees. I know people who funded themselves throughout their master's program, and of course they had to maybe borrow money from friends to pay back later on, use credit cards at some point, but they are doing well now. They've paid all their debt. They are not in debt anymore. So once you're focused, once you're hardworking, be friendly with your faculty, they'll also be willing to help you, So I take that leap of faith, but be ready to work and know that it's not easy at all.
You see how there is this misconception that schooling in the US is easy. Is it true? Tell me about, because I can tell you it's not easy.
They said that in Nigeria, at least I'm from Nigeria, that it's easier there than in Nigeria. I think it's not the same yardstick they are using to compare. It might be that maybe life is hard, maybe there are not enough computers or the classroom is filled and everything, but here you actually learn. But it's a tedious process. You actually have to spend that time on it.
Yeah.
Or else they've done it that way that you can't do well if you don't spend all the hours that they've already estimated that you have to on that course. So I don't think it's easy to say it's easy like that. It's not easy, and if you don't have funding, you also have to mix that with working hard and working hard at school. So many of the things we learn in class, you have to read up on your own. And assignments are not just assignments. And it's not like you can just wait till December and write your exam and be done like it is in Nigeria. You probably have 4 exams for one course, and each exam matters. So you have quizzes. I had one course, transport. I had like 4 exams. I had quizzes almost every other day in the week, and assignments, like 4 assignments and a report, a project at the end, and everything mattered. And of course, the grading system here is different. Like, I think it's not 90. I don't take courses anymore, so it's like 90 or 92. Some courses are 95 to have an A, and grad students can't, at least in chemical engineering, you can't have less than a B. I think in my department.
Same for it.
You can, okay. So you can't have less than a B. You have to have, so it's A, B, or B. If you have a B, it's like a fail, and you have to redo the course. So it's not easy at all.
Like, I like to think it's only easy insofar as you have the resources available for you to learn. If the resources is not there, you just have to ask, and they will get it for you, right?
And it's always good to ask questions. That's one thing this system has that is good. They want you to ask, and that's the only way you can learn.
So, like, there are so many things I would like to ask you, right? Our time is so fast. So I need to ask you. This is fun. I need to ask you the jollof question, right?
Good.
The jollof question. Monica had the answer. I need yours.
What?
Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal. And I know
I have tasted all 3.
You have? So tell me.
I tasted Senegal. I have tasted Ghanaian. Because I go to Ghana. And of course, I have tasted the Nigerian jollof rice. Now, if we're talking about Nigerian party jollof rice, like the jollof rice that they serve at a party, that they cooked in a big pot, you cannot compete with it. Just leave it. Just leave it. Now, if it's jollof rice that maybe some people are not really good at cooking jollof rice, Nigerian jollof rice, it takes some technique to make it smoky and juicy like a party jollof rice. You can come to my house, I'll show you how to do it. Ghanaian jollof rice, I found it interesting that they always added shito to it. In most places there was this small sauce, and the rice with the sauce tastes nice, but without the sauce. So that's the thing I'll have against that. That's the point it loses, that I should be able to eat jollof rice and it should taste perfect. It tastes almost, it's not bland. Now, it's not bad. I will not say Ghanaian jollof rice is bad, but it's okay. Senegal jollof rice, I think that one is overdue. I think they put too much in it. And I only had it once, and it was my aunt that made it. She's Senegalese, so I don't know if she was trying to make it specially. There was a lot in there. There was meat, there was everything in there. It was nice, but it didn't really taste like the jollof rice I'm used to. But it tasted really nice. And if I had to choose, I would choose Ghanaian jollof before I choose the Senegalese jollof rice, just because it's just too much is going on. I'm a simple person. But party jollof, Nigerian party jollof, I've not had Ghanaian party jollof.
You should. You should.
So let's leave it at that. Nigerian party jollof.
That's going to be raging for
I don't think it's necessary.
No, it's fun.
It's fun.
It's a fun.
But I've had everything, and food is food.
It's that fun that will attach sentiment to
Ghanaian jollof, Senegalese, Nigerian is definitely better than all the food we have here in Otin. So
I mean, it's fun. I like that conversation. Like, everybody seems to have different perspectives. It's all about where you eat the food.
Because you can actually taste some Nigerian jollof rice and it's not good. So that's why I said if you
I'm the host, so I can't say which one.
Of course, you say Ghanaian jollof now. Of course. Have you had the Senegalese one?
I haven't, but I've seen it.
You have seen it. So you can see that there's a lot inside.
Curious. Like, they have big chunks of
big chunks of meat and everything. Yes.
Like, I've seen it, but I've not tasted it. Just that. Just by looking at it,
it looks yummy.
No, I can't have it.
You feel like it's too much.
Yeah, it feels like
that's
it's
the same
too
way
much.
I feel.
But
too.
I've not eaten it, so I can't really be objective about it.
So when I ate that, it was nice. But in my head, it didn't feel like I was eating jollof rice.
Okay, so our time is fast spent. One advice for whether for women who are trying to pursue higher education, for Africans who want to come to the US to study, or to Houghton specifically. Try not to mention the weather.
I actually love the cold.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I go skiing.
I'm beginning to love it.
Yeah, I do fun stuff during the winter too. So
What would be that advice you leave us with?
I'm not an advisor. I'll just say, whatever you want to do, whether you come to UK, US, Houghton, anywhere, grad school, be doing it for you and want it for yourself. Don't, I mean, I know because of some background, some people do that as an escape from something, but especially if you're going for a PhD program, like me now, some people might say, oh, PhD, you get funding, I'll just go that route. But make sure you're doing it for yourself, because it's not easy. And the only way you can keep pushing is because you want it, not someone else. No one made you to do it. You want it, and just try to, you know, have a system that works for you, that makes you happy when you're down, because you're going to have a lot of downs and lows. So just have a system. Yeah. And I don't know, if you're a family person, just be in contact with them.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for passing through. I've really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. You were a very good host. And our tech guy.
And our tech guy. All too soon, we come to the end of another interesting conversation. Tinu has been wonderful. And I know we can just go on and on and on, but we have to.
This was fun. A good and well spent Sunday evening.
It is. So if you want to follow us, you can follow us on aso.mtv.edu. Follow us on our social media pages. You have it on the screen. And if you are an alumni who would like to be featured on the podcast series, feel free to contact any of us through our social media handle. Until we meet again, bye. How do you say bye in your language?
Odabo.
Odabo.
Bye bye.